All right. Here we go shortly. Okay, so hopefully you guys can all see my screen. Stop me if you can't. We're going to get started right away with our launch training. You guys know me somewhat, but just a little bit about me. You guys just saw my daughter Whitney and my husband Gary, and I can honestly tell you that like never in a million years did I think that I would be doing any of this, but I absolutely love what I do, and I'm thrilled to be doing it. I love being able to help people be healthier, help people feel happier about things, and I really love being able to help people reach their goals, whatever they might be. And although I can't convince everybody to change their perception, I think it's really fun to be able to give people a positive experience with network marketing and change that perception. So who is this training for? It's for anybody who has fallen in love with their oils and wants to tell others about them. Or maybe you just have people asking you about them. Or maybe you're like, what in the world is this all about? Well, by the end of this, you're going to have a better feel for like, what is this whole thing all about? And also you're going to, this is for anybody who wants to do all of that while keeping their friendships, their relationships, and their sanity intact. What doesn't matter? Thank you. That's pretty loud. Okay, good. So what doesn't matter is the size of your goal. It could be big, it could be small. Maybe you want $50 extra a month, money for a manicure. Maybe you want money for a car payment or a mortgage, or maybe you want to replace a full-time income. Any goal is fine. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're brand new and you just got your kit, or if you're a seasoned veteran and you've had your oils for a long time. And it doesn't matter if you're thinking, can you bring your, hey Gary, okay, one sec. Hey Gary. Okay, that's quieter at least. We live in a very tiny house. Or it doesn't matter if you're working full-time or part-time. All right, none of those things matter. It's just for anybody. It's for anybody who wants to know more and wants to be here. So I'm glad that you're here. Let's talk a little bit about our team culture. This is super important to me. So some things that are important to our team. We are on a mission to give people a positive experience with network marketing. I said that. We lead with our hearts and with service. Can I hold her, Gare? I think that might be our best bet. I don't know, but let's start with this. I can't do it. Yeah, come here. Come here. Yep, you sit right here with me and help Mama. You want to sit? Okay.
Hey, Whitty.
Oh, it's Em.
Hi, Whitty Spitty. What's up?
Okay, say it's going to be okay. And
Mama.
Yeah, and oh, there's the picture of Momo on the screen. That's my mom. My mom is Momo. So we lead with our hearts and service. We are committed to authenticity and integrity. Our motto is customer first, team second, and me and my ego third. And you'll see more how that plays out as we go. And also, we admit it when we blow it because we're not perfect and we aren't afraid to ask for forgiveness. Right?
Mama.
Hi. Okay. And I just have to throw this picture up here. Let's not forget the whole reason that any of us are taking an hour out of our Sunday nights to hear my child scream and experience this chaos is because the oils are amazing. They do amazing things. They change lives. They've changed our lives and your lives and Whitney's life, and they're amazing things. So the whole reason we're here is really these oils and the amazing and powerful benefits of them. So let's not forget that. And a funny picture, but I like everybody to know that you're not going to experience pressure from me. I know where I'm going, and I'm simply offering an invitation for you to join me on this journey.
Mama.
Is that Mama jumping? I'm so silly. Yeah, so silly. The agenda for today, this should be in your workbook, but for part one, we're going to talk about baggage. We have got to unpack some of the stuff that we're bringing to this conversation. I want to lay some groundwork so that the training makes sense. And I'm going to help give you an idea of what I mean when I say the sales assembly line. And then Emily and I are going to demonstrate a sales conversation so you can see that. And then in part two, we're going to break that down. You bring your nuts over here. Bring your nuts over, but you got to be shh. And we're going to learn each new skill one at a time. And then we'll talk about some action items and have time for Q&A. Pretty straightforward. Okay, when I think of like either myself or maybe somebody else, and somebody sits down to talk with them about sales or network marketing, and there's just baggage everywhere. Like you literally can't even see through it. You might be carrying your own baggage. Maybe you're carrying your best friend or your sister's baggage. You're carrying a lot of baggage on this topic. So we have to kind of deal with that before we move forward a little bit. Okay, so when we talk about sales, first of all, this is kind of what we picture. I know it's a funny meme, but this is how we picture salespeople. I would love to hold this. Thank you. This is how we picture salespeople, and we think of people being manipulative or high pressure. I don't want to be salesy. I hear that a lot. It's an icky feeling. Oh, not for me. I could never do that. And we think of the used car salesman, which I don't really necessarily know who that is, but somebody gave us a really bad rep. It's okay. I'll get it for you. Did you drop that? Okay, so what is sales? Okay, so sales is not selling products to somebody who doesn't need them. It's not convincing somebody to buy something they can't afford. And it's not selling ice to an Eskimo. That's another thing that it's not. What is it? It's learning about people and connecting with them. It's about learning about their goals and their problems and then offering them a product that will help them reach their goals and solve their problems. So there's 3 types of salespeople. Okay, unethical. This was the used car salesman. It's a very small percentage of salespeople, but obviously what has ruined this whole reputation for salespeople. Every industry has unethical people in it, so I'm really not quite sure why we give salespeople such a hard time, but there is the unethical salesperson. The second type is the untrained salesperson. And this is actually the majority of salespeople. And because they don't like to think of themselves as salespeople, they never take the time to learn how to do it well. And because they never take the time to learn how to do it well, the worst part is they end up contributing to the bad image even more. So like think about you want to reach out to your friend, but you don't want to be salesy. So you catch up with them, and then at the end you kind of like throw in like, hey, I'm doing this new thing if you're interested. What did you come off as? You were trying to come off as not salesy. You came off as like the unethical salesperson who is being manipulative, right? It bit you in the butt. Okay, so that's the sad part about untrained, is that most of us are untrained salespeople, and we end up contributing to the bad image when we desperately don't want to. So while trying not to be manipulative, they act manipulative. Okay, so 3, the trusted advisor. They care about people. They're sincere and they're kind. They help people solve their problems. And they communicate well. And they serve people. Okay, so which one do we want to be? Obviously, we want to be the mama. And we want to be the trusted advisor. I'm done being an untrained salesperson and being unwilling to admit that I do sales, because it does more harm than good. And I have found like a huge difference in my ability to serve and care for people when I've just embraced that and decided to be a better salesperson and skilled so I can care for people better. It is a skill that can be learned. And that's what we're going to do today, to give you the skills to care for people well. And whether or not it might take you some time to be able to admit that you're selling something or doing something like this. But let me tell you, there's so much fruit in being able to care for people when you really know and you feel comfortable doing it and you're like skilled at it. So, okay, we also have to unpack some baggage with closing, because we're going to talk about that today too. I want to give you a new definition of closing. It's helping somebody move forward with the decision they already want to make. And it's important to close, and we'll talk about this. It's important to close. It's important to close, because otherwise you end up chasing people down to get either a yes or no. I don't care if it's a yes or a no. I just want to know, is it a yes or no, so we can all move forward in our relationships and our friendships and our own lives. Okay, so it's helping somebody move forward with a decision that they already want to make. There's 2 types of closing. There's reactive, and this is why you cringe when you think of closing, is because you've experienced reactive closing. And what this looks like in the oil world is this. You sample, you follow up again, and then they kind of only half used it, and you follow it up again. You can take her for a walk outside. I think it's good. Okay, you're going to go for a walk. All right? You want to take your blankie? Okay. And then you invite them to a class, and then they don't come, and then you invite them to a class, and then they finally come, but then they don't decide to buy a kit, so then you follow up, and then, oh my gosh, it's a nightmare, okay? That's reactive closing. Or they say, oh, I want this kit, but I can't afford it. And then you say, oh, well, that's okay. Think about how much money you spend on coffee drinks each day. Things like that. That's reactive closing. You have to be highly skilled to do it well. I don't think it's fun. I don't like it. Okay, so let's talk about proactive closing. This is understanding why people don't buy, and you proactively address those issues before they come up, which we will unpack this. Now let's talk about selling on the fly. Okay, so I look at these different scenarios. There's moms playing with their kids, people on the sidelines of a sporting event, having coffee with your friends. And let's just picture yourself in one of these that matches your life stage. Hopefully I hit somebody's life stage here. And somebody in a public venue turns to you and says, hey, I hear you use oils, like, you know, can I order a bottle of lavender or whatever, tell me about it. And it comes up. And you like immediately, what we tend to want to do is like open up our book, open up our app. You're going to use this, 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 and this, and this, and do like the whole spiel, like you have word vomit, but about oils, and you can't stop. And they end up with most likely a negative perception. The people around you probably are kind of turned off, and you probably didn't feel really good or confident about it either. Okay, so my goal, have so much fun on your walk, okay? You have so much fun. Look for some friends out there, okay? Okay, thank you. Love you. I'm really glad I can't see your guys' faces because I know you're being really patient with me. Okay, so what I want to say about selling on the fly, I totally lost my train of thought. But the reason that we don't do this is because it's not professional. And what I want to help you do is be a professional and which is not what I'm doing right now because they just pick up on the lawnmower and you can't hear a word I'm saying. Okay, so Emily, that was really epic. I hope you never forget that. You're probably going into labor now at all the hilarity. What I want you to be able to do is compartmentalize doTERRA stuff and not vomit it on people, and so that you come off as a professional, unlike I'm doing right now. But if you can come off as a professional, that means that you can kind of, this will always going to make sense here shortly. You can compartmentalize what you're doing with oils, and it doesn't interfere with your friendships and relationships. And that's a magical thing. Imagine this. This is what I want. When you picture yourself word vomiting about oils to somebody, let's picture another scenario. Let's have a lawyer at one of these, or no, a counselor at this sporting event. And the mom leads next to her, says to the counselor next to her, hey, I'm having this marriage issue. Like, can you, what do you think, or something? And she opens up all her things and gets out and does the whole counseling session right there. No, they would never do that. They're professional. A lawyer would never pull out paperwork and start signing legal things. Like, they would say, let's set an appointment. Let's set a time to talk about this. So rather than selling on the fly, we're going to talk about setting specific time to talk to people about oils. Whew, that was a long-winded slide. Sorry, everybody. And the last topic we have to hit on is sampling. Okay, so a part of the doTERRA culture has been, and still is for many, to sample. But I would recommend that you move away from sampling for many, many reasons. It'll save you so much brain space. It'll save you a lot of money. And what does sampling lead to? It leads to somebody wanting one oil or this, or not even wanting an oil. You're just chasing them down. If somebody offered me something for free, like kind of out of obligation or whatever, I would probably take it. It might roll around in my purse. I probably would never use it. But then I've got this person calling me and asking me, who's well-meaning, I'm not saying people who are sampling are intending, I'm saying it's coming off the wrong way. Then you're following up, inviting to a class, doing all these things. And I just think it's time to be done with that and to simplify our businesses and to be done with sampling, because it doesn't, it's not customer first. It just isn't, because it doesn't give them enough of an experience. They end up only wanting one oil, and then they wonder why they only have one oil, because they want the frankincense and the melaleuca and all these other things, and they have to pay retail, and it's just kind of a nightmare. So I think that sampling can go away, and save you trips to the post office on that one too. Let's talk about appointments versus classes. So what I'm going to teach you can be done both in an appointment model and a class model. The reason that I prefer appointments is because I find them significantly more effective because you can really personalize the oils to the person that you're caring for. And if we're customer first, then that to me is like a no-brainer. However, that being said, the outline that we're going to be going through can be adapted for a class, and I do think it can still be effective, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the class. I think what you're up against is the perception of people coming to a party, and this is different, I feel like, when you're talking about essential oils because it's like literally healthcare, and it's about education. So it's kind of a different vibe. So we're talking about appointments. I think that they're easier to do. As a busy mom, I think it's easier to do. I think they're way more user-friendly. I think they care for people better. But never fear if you're a class junkie. I've got you in mind, and I still occasionally do classes, and I have trainings on that as well. So we're going to talk about the sales assembly line, and let's just walk through what the different steps of it are, and then I want to talk about something else for a minute. So first you have to set an appointment. So instead of selling on the fly when somebody brings up oils, you're going to set an appointment, okay? And then once you're in the appointment, you're going to give them an agenda. You're going to then gather input and learn about their goals. You're going to share the company's story. Then you're going to explain and personalize the product to them. You're going to close, giving them only 2 options: set the follow-up appointment and ask for referrals. And this image on the right is just when your sales assembly line is broken, like when you like sample and then kind of throw things in here, you end up feeling like this. And this is the kind of thing that I don't want you to experience. If you choose in whatever capacity to engage in doTERRA, I want you to have a really positive experience. And yes, it's hard work. And yes, there are things that you do that sometimes feel uncomfortable, but I don't want it to feel like chaos. I want you to feel like I know exactly what to do because somebody told me how to do it and because it works. I don't want you feeling like I Love Lucy here, trying to stuff the broken sales assembly line chocolates into your mouth, although chocolate is wonderful. So that's the sales assembly line. Okay, now what Emily and I'm going to exit out of this so I can see if you're all still on after all of that. Okay, you're all still on. That's amazing. Can't believe it. Can't believe we survived that. So, oh my gosh, what is my life? What Emily and I are going to do right now is we're going to demonstrate a sales conversation. So, Emily and I have not like rehearsed this. This is going to be, yes, I'm going to use the outline, which we'll talk about in a minute, but this is not like scripted or rehearsed. This is just something that we've learned to do with customers to help them feel cared for. So what I would recommend, I want you to think about 2 things while we're doing this. I want you to put yourself in the customer's shoes. I want you to pretend you're Emily, pretend you're a customer and be like, how does this feel? Like, do I feel cared for? Does this feel overwhelming? What do I really think of this? And then I want you to put yourself in my shoes, actually, as the presenter, for lack of a better word, the educator, the person selling the oils, and be like, does that seem hard, what Amy did? Does that seem complicated? Do I feel like I could do that? So I want you to be thinking about those things, but I want you to just really experience this. So, Em, we're in a coffee shop now. I've got a water. Okay, what are you drinking, Em?
I've got my water. I'm good.
Mm-hmm. So we've already kind of caught up, shot the breeze a little bit. All right, so this is super fun. I've really been looking forward to this. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about your health goals and what you want to know about oils. I'm going to talk a little bit about doTERRA, and then we're going to talk about the most popular products. You do not have to buy anything. If you see something you'd like, I will help you order it, but it's as easy as that. So what are some things that you for sure want to go over today?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of see oils all around, like, at Walmart and stuff. Like, why, does it matter where I get them from?
Awesome. Anything else?
Not really.
I'm taking notes because I don't want to forget anything that you asked me to go over. Okay, perfect. What kinds of things, like what kinds of health goals are you working on? What's going on in your life right now that you're like, hey, can I use an oil for this?
I'm about to push a baby out in the next 20 minutes of my life. So something like, I don't know if I can use oils on kids, something for kids, something with delivery maybe.
Perfect. Awesome. Anything else? Anything for you or for your husband?
We don't really sleep super well.
Okay. I can't imagine why. Okay. Perfect. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. If you think of anything else while we're going, just interrupt me. I'll add it to my sheet. So that's great. What do you already know about doTERRA? Do you know anything?
Not really. I mean, I've kind of used oils here and there, but I don't know anything about doTERRA.
Awesome. Well, so basically doTERRA is the largest essential oil company, and they're all about helping people find natural solutions for their everyday lives. So people like you turn to doTERRA when they don't want to use chemicals anymore. They're maybe not achieving the results with their health that they want to. And maybe they just want something like natural and safe that's going to work each time, and they don't have a ton of brain space to be researching everything right now. So doTERRA offers a full line of kits so you can find something that meets your needs. And what I love about doTERRA's oils is that they're the most tested and trusted oils on the market. Nobody's doing what doTERRA is doing. This can definitely be seen in their partnerships with over 120 research facilities and universities, including Johns Hopkins. So they're really going above and beyond. There's no fillers, there's no dilution. What you get is absolutely what you get. And because it's the highest quality oil on the market, you can be 100% sure that you're getting consistently amazing results from bottle to bottle. And they have really great customer service. So if you get something and you're not happy with it, you can return it within 30 days and get 100% back to spend on something else, or 90% return back to your card, which is pretty awesome. And you get somebody to help you learn how to use the oils, which is great. You don't really get that from the grocery store. Can you call Amy at 2 a.m. from the grocery store? No. So that's kind of a fun thing too. Okay, great. So because you seem a little bit newer to oils, well, actually, I'm going to time out. What I would do is I always share briefly what an oil is and the 3 ways to use it. I know you guys know that, but I do that in about 1.5 to 2 minutes. So I insert that there for them, and then we roll on. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the 10 oils, 10 most popular oils and how they'd be helpful to you in this stage of life. So let's start with lavender. Okay, you talked about sleep. So what you're going to do, you're going to take some lavender, you're going to put it on your neck, a little on your pillow, same on your husband, rub his feet with lavender, and you're going to sleep like a baby, which is not, I don't like that phrase anymore, but you're going to sleep very peacefully. You're going to sleep so peacefully. And when you have that new little one, lavender is so great. It's really gentle. So like in a bath, or if baby's worked up, or if you're having mastitis, or like whatever, like lavender, you just reach for it and you'll be so glad you have it.
I've heard that you can't put oils right on kids. Is that true?
Yeah. So when we talked about the 3 way to use the oils, I told you how to dilute them for your child.
Right, I forgot. My bad. Okay.
Seriously, are you that pregnant that you forgot that we just talked about that?
I'm trying to throw you for a loop. It can't be done.
I can't. If what just happened didn't put me down for the night, then you aren't going to win. Yeah, so I definitely, and I'll remind you, definitely dilute. And for the whole internet that's going to see this, we dilute oils for little ones, okay? We dilute them, always. Okay, good. I'm glad that's out there so people don't come find me. Thank you, actually. That's probably a good thing. So next, let's talk about frankincense. Okay, so you talked about how you're about to push out a baby. So anybody that's been through something fairly traumatic, even if it goes swimmingly, a lot on their body, you're going to use lavender or frankincense to help healing everywhere. You could bathe in it. You could put somewhere it hurts. It's going to be your best friend. And frankincense is also really wonderful to dilute and use on your new baby because they've been through a lot too. So maybe some on the bottoms of the feet, things like that will be really helpful. Got a little frank. Okay, we're going to talk about peppermint next. In this season of life, you're not going to be using it a ton because of your milk supply, but your husband's going to need it because he's going to be exhausted. So what you're going to do for him is you can put some in the diffuser. You could send some to work with him, and he can put some in his hands, breathe it in, rub it on the back of his neck, and he is going to be so happy and awake and not like he has a newborn baby. So you'll really love that. And if your little one ever has a fever, you can dilute this oil and use that for the fever. So that will be great too. But no fevers for your baby. Okay, good. Melaleuca is next. This is commonly known as tea tree oil. You're going to use this because you're going to have amazing hair and scalp and nails, which are always a little bit funny after you push the baby out. So you use it to keep those healthy and looking great. And if you ever have a sore throat and you're trying to not use something while you're nursing or whatever, you can just put Melaleuca on the outside of your throat or on the tip of your tongue and swallow a couple times, and that will help head that off. So you'll be really grateful to have a natural solution. Okay, lemon. Let's talk about lemon next. You're going to love some lemon in your water because it's going to kind of keep you energized, keep your digestion going, support your body, and it will be really wonderful and helpful. I can see you guys laughing. I wonder what just happened. So lemon will be really great for that. And you're also going to love having a safe, non-toxic way to clean your home. So you can literally put lemon and water in a spray bottle and clean all your windows, any of baby's toys, all the surfaces, and not worry about it being harmful for anybody. So you'll love that. Okay, we'll talk about oregano next. This is what you're going to use whenever you feel like something big, bad, and ugly is going on. So you can put it on the bottoms of your feet. I don't think that baby really needs, it's an immune support oil, and there's other immune support oils you could use for baby. But for you and your husband, if you feel like you've come into contact with something and you've got any kind of an infection or anything, use some oregano on the bottoms of your feet. It's like nature's antibiotic, and you'll be so glad you have it. Okay, let's talk about Digestion next. Little ones oftentimes have an upset stomach and they cry about it and they can't tell you what's wrong. So I can't tell you how grateful you're going to be to have a drop or two of Digestion diluted in a roller bottle for on baby's tummy or bottoms of feet, because it will keep the tummy really happy. And same for you and your husband. If you have any digestive issues, just rub it right on your belly. So you'll be really glad to have that. Breathe is also great. It's the respiratory blend. So anytime you're congested. So you could throw this in a diffuser in your bedroom. You could put some diluted on your chest. It also has minty oils. So if you're using it, I would just dilute it or use it sparingly. But same with baby. A congested baby is a really sad baby, and there's not a lot you can do. So if you put a drop in a diffuser in a larger room, that would be a really great way to keep airways open so they could breathe and sleep, so you can sleep. And next is On Guard. Okay, so we're heading into fall, and you're going to have a new baby, and you're going to be like, wash your hands, stay away from me, da 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 da. And people aren't going to do that. So what you're going to do is you're going to take On Guard and you're going to put it on the bottoms of your feet and your husband's feet every morning and every night. And it's going to really support your immune system. And if you feel like your little one is coming into contact with something or being out and about a lot, you could do the same thing. 1 to 2 drops in a roller bottle, bottoms of the feet. So you'll be really glad to have that. And the last is Deep Blue. And this is when you have a crying baby in the middle of the night and you're swaying in a weird stance and then you're sore, you're going to use some Deep Blue diluted for your sore muscles, or for your husband who's been carrying you from the tub to the bed because you're so tired. He can use some Deep Blue from when he's sore and things like that. So you're going to use this anytime you're sore or uncomfortable, and you'll be really glad to have it. So those are the top 10 oils. So now what I'm going to do, I'll tell you the 2 most popular kits. Let's start with the Family Essentials kit. So this has the 10 oils we just talked about, smaller bottles, about 80-ish drops of each oil. And that one's $150. And the other really popular kit is the Home Essentials kit. And it has those same 10 oils, but they're bigger bottles, about 250 drops of each oil. And my most favorite diffuser, the Petal Diffuser. That one's $275. If you were to choose one of those kits for your family right now, is there one that you would prefer?
Well, I like the one with the diffuser, but $275 is a little more than I wanted to spend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it. Do you feel like the Family Essentials is a better fit for you right now in this stage?
Yeah, I think so. That would be better. But I still really want the diffuser. Can I just get one on Amazon?
I did get some on Amazon and I threw them out. I'll show you how you can order one. It's pretty easy.
Oh, great.
You can always add in a diffuser if you want to. So I'm going to tell you about my first appointment special. So if you want to go ahead and get that kit today, what I'd love to do is gift you my favorite Happy Mama roller blend that I use religiously like a perfume. It's my favorite. So if that kit is something that you're wanting, do you want to go ahead and order that today, and I will get your blend made up for you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, perfect. So I will make that up for you. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to set a time to connect, because when your oils come, I want you to know exactly what to do with all of them. So we'll set a date, and I'll show you how to use your oils and also how to use your account, which is super easy. Like if you want a diffuser, we'll talk about that. So does next Thursday or next Friday at 1:15 work?
Friday sounds great.
Okay, perfect. We'll set that as a date. Did you find this helpful?
Yeah, this was great. Thanks so much.
Okay, good. This is like my favorite thing to do for people. And I also really want to make sure. Hi, honey. Oh my gosh, they went and got ice cream.
I mean, might as well.
Mama had a long day.
Oh, Mama had a long day. Okay.
Oh.
We're still going.
Right.
So you guys, yep. Num num. Okay, you guys go deal with this. These ladies want to have their evenings too, okay? Can you blow them a kiss? Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Go eat that with Daddy.
So eat.
Go eat. Okay, so I want to make sure that I care for the people in your community that want to know about oils well too. So what I usually say is this, I'm looking for people who care about like their health, who are nice like you. I don't want to talk to anybody who's mean, okay? No mean people. And all I'll do is do what we just did. They don't have to buy anything, okay? It's just like a time for them to learn about oils and experience what you just did. So what I do is this: if there are like 5 people that you know who you think would find this helpful, I'd love to also gift you my Happy Baby roller blend. That is also a favorite one in our household. So is that something you think you'd be open to?
So what do you want me to do?
I want you to write down 5 names for me.
Okay, sure. I can do that.
No, everybody's probably laughing now. I'm working on my referral part of the outline because I'm still a work in progress. So then I just ask for referrals, and that's it. Em and I had a great time, and yeah, that was the whole outline from beginning to end, with a little spotty on the referrals because ice cream and working on it. But what do you guys, I mean, like, so unmute yourself for a minute here. Like, what are your honest thoughts about that? Do you feel like that was hard or complicated? Do you feel like that was overwhelming? What do you guys think?
I guess what I would ask is just, so you've been doing this a little bit longer than I have, and I've just learned from experience I've done for myself. But you have just like this giant plethora of like what of those like top 10 oils do. So for somebody that, you know, has friends that are having babies and like has friends that have babies and I don't have that, how do I like prepare beforehand and like be able to like regurgitate all of that to them, even though I may not know exactly what they're going to ask? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I think that it comes with time, but I also think if push comes to shove, I think you would know what to recommend for a newborn with an upset stomach, or
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I feel like
sure.
you take, because it feels kind of like, oh, that's a realm I know nothing about. But you could look at somebody and be like, oh yeah, put a drop of digestin in a roller bottle and swirl it on the tummy.
Okay.
So I hate to say it feels kind of cheap to say it's like common sense, but for somebody who understands oils,
Mm-hmm.
it comes. And what I do for people is like the outline that I just used is we go through and we look at the 10 oils and we like practice, but like talk through like, okay, what are 2 uses that are absolutely universal for each oil? Like everybody sleeps, everybody cleans, everybody gets tired, and things like that. So then it feels more universal.
Okay.
Was that helpful?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
and we'll practice that too, like going over that is I know in my head I have like 3 things I know I can always talk about with lavender, and like, you know, to go over that, to communicate that. But I feel like too, it's also really helpful to just sometimes be like, I'm not actually sure. If somebody asks you a question, like, let me check my app and just look it up, because it shows them that like not only can they do what you're doing because like, oh, I can look at my app, but then it's helpful. It's like empowering to them to know, oh, I can find these answers.
And that we're not just making stuff up as we go either.
Yeah.
Does it make sense to like beforehand, like if I were meeting with my friend she's due like next year, but like to ask her like before to take like a preemptive strike, just to like kind of work my brain around it before we actually meet up, so that I'm like prepared before I get there?
I think that's right. I would
Okay.
say we'll talk about setting an appointment, but I would totally say like, tell me like 1 or 2 things that you like for sure want to go over when we're together. So I'm ready.
Sure.
I think that's
Okay. Awesome. Okay, cool.
Em,
Thanks.
you're here saying hi to you. Do you say hi, Em?
Hi.
Hi, Whitney. Oh.
Okay. Any other thoughts, or what did you, Natalie or Heather, anything that you're like, yeah, that made sense, or that didn't?
I think it all made sense.
Um,
I just feel like I
Yeah.
might struggle with a few things. Like, I think it'll just come with time and practice. Like, I tend to find, like, my friends, when I'm with them, like, we were at the farmer's market on Saturday. I was with a friend, and she had her kid, and she wanted to know about it. She's like, because I know oils are all the rage. And it's hard to say, oh, well, I don't want to talk to you about it all right now, because I love talking about the oils, so it's easy for me to just get into it. And she was asking, but they ask, and I just don't know how really interested they are, because I like to follow more of a holistic approach in my life, but not everyone's that same way. So I feel like I'm trying to convince somebody to do that, but I want them to realize too, like, maybe they haven't thought about it, or like thought about the products that they're bringing into their family's life, and how bad they really are,
Mhm.
and how they could improve that by using oils. And so I struggle with that. So.
Natalie, I think, well, both you and Heather have done a really amazing job of sharing. I mean, like, this is your first time, I think, seeing it quite like this. I know that you've shared oils with a lot of people, but I think it's very telling to hear you say, like, you didn't say this, but kind of, for lack of a better, like, it doesn't always feel like super, it's a little bit tricky sometimes. And
Yeah.
I also think I think that anybody should be over the moon at the thought of, like, 30 to 45 minutes to pick Caitlin, Natalie, or Heather's brain about oils and wellness and all that. Like, they would be foolish to turn that down, because you guys have a lot to offer on that topic. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes when you come at that, with that perspective, it's like, oh yeah, you get 30 minutes of my undivided attention to learn everything that I know.
Yeah.
I feel like a good thing too, like a quick, especially when it's your friends, a quick like thing to say would be like, I have so many thoughts about these oils and how you could use them, but I really want you to experience them. So like, let's sit down when I can bring my oils and you can smell all of them. So then they're like,
Sure.
oh, okay, you're not just like being a weirdo and not talking to me, but you're like, oh, there's a reason why I want to like set up a time and you can actually experience them then.
Sure.
And that makes sense. And sounds like that would be a better approach too than what I've been doing. So
Yeah. Then I feel like people just feel more.
2 things.
well, Heather, you're
Poor Heather's technology. Okay, Heather, try again.
I
she has really crappy internet where she's at. So
Kitchen table.
can you guys hear? Dang it!
it's sketchy, Heather.
No. Damn. Well,
Maybe if the chat
let
works.
me go somewhere else in my house, just like you have to do, Amy.
I'm
How are we doing now? Better?
hiding in the corner and it's not even working.
Can kind of.
Oh, you guys are coming outside with me. Ooh, good.
Oh wow, a speed tour.
Wow, that was quick.
On.
Oh no.
I
Maybe
think
if she just uses the chat part.
Yeah, maybe we'll have.
she lives in the country, so like her internet's terrible where she's
Oh
at.
no.
Oh, here she comes back again. Let's give her one more. Heather, can you hear us? Oh, there we go.
Can see her.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Whoa.
Sound kind of like a crazy character. You might have to. Would you just be my best friend?
Can you hear me?
Type it in the chat box, maybe. That might take a while on their phone. But your
yeah.
thoughts are valuable.
I'm such
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh, wait, sometimes
That's
we
okay.
want to know. We do want to know. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over, share my screen again, and flip to part 2. And we start. Okay. Yes, blanket. Good night, Whitney. I love you. I wonder if she doesn't feel good. This is so strange. Just, I know, let her be. Okay, we're presenting. Sorry, hopefully you guys. Would you like to just eat a couple more nuts and we'll finish this out? Yeah, you're such a good helper. Okay, so we did this. Somehow we went backwards. Okay, so part 2. So I just want to go back and I want to look at the sales assembly line one more time. Here's the breakdown again. We're going to talk. You didn't get to see me set an appointment with Emily, but I'm going to show you what that looks like. We're going to talk about the agenda that I used with her, gathering input, learning about their goals. I used the company story. We talked about what oils are and how to use them. I explained and I personalized the product. I closed and I gave her 2 options. I set the follow-up appointment and I asked for referrals. Okay, so I just want to give a little bit of a disclaimer here. So I'm referring to what we're using here as outlines. So the following slides contain those outlines and the examples of each component of the sales conversation that we just talked about. I want you to see it broken down, and the goal is that you would use these outlines to write your own similar outline. Okay, so I don't necessarily anticipate you to be like, to do this word for word. I don't want you to be like, some people freak out and think that it's a script, which I don't think there's anything wrong with, but I just want you to understand that a little bit. Yeah, you have a boo-boo on your foot. Did we put oils on it? We did put oils on. We better put more oils on it. Daddy's gonna put more oils on for you. You don't want to lose the essence, but you want it to sound like you. And for some of you, you might basically be reading from the outline for your first month of appointments. As you're learning it and getting comfortable with it, maybe with some of your close family and friends, and that's totally fine. I literally, like, there are people who on those first appointments, you just identify the awkward and you're like, I'm literally going to read from this so I don't miss anything. And then literally by the second or third time you do it, you're going to have it, you're going to know it. So setting an appointment. Okay, here's an example of setting an appointment with somebody who you're bringing the conversation up with them. Okay, so I know this is out of the blue. I wanted to get your thoughts on something. Those are Mama's oils. You need to go get your oils, okay? Okay, thank you. I'm starting to set up appointments with people to teach them about essential oils, and as part of my learning process, I'm trying to set up appointments with people I know so I can get comfortable. You don't have to buy anything if you don't want to. My part will take about 30 minutes. I'm just going to go over what things you would want to know about and some of the most popular products. Would you be willing to help me out? We can do it over technology or in person. Which do you think would be better for you? I've got 2 appointments left this week. We can do Tuesday or Thursday. Which works better for you? Great. So how the heck are you? Okay, so let's talk about this outline. Let's unpack this for a little bit. Okay, so you don't have to say, I'm starting to set up appointments to practice them with people, but you can. We could adapt that paragraph, that portion, to what you wanted it to look like. But here's the really important part. People are afraid to sit down with people because they're afraid they're going to have to buy something. So tell them you don't have to buy anything if you don't want to, okay? People don't want to sit down with you because they think it's going to take 4 hours. So tell them my part will take about 30 minutes. And people don't want to sit down with you because they don't know what you're going to talk about. So tell them, I'm just going to go over the things that you want to know about and some of the most popular products. Okay, amazing, right? Give them the option of in technology or in person. Okay, options are good. And give them 2 specific times to pick from. And they will pick one. It will happen. Okay, so that's what setting an appointment when you're reaching out to them looks like. And then this is how you transition a conversation to setting an appointment. This is what we talked about. Do you need to go for another car ride? I need like 15 more minutes. We need to do something. I know, then put her to bed, but it's too hard. I think there's too much feedback. So if we talked about selling on the fly. Bye, night. We talked about selling on the fly and how we don't want to do that. We want to set an appointment. So if you're like at a sporting event or at a coffee shop or with a friend or at the farmer's market and they say something about oils, then this is what you respond with in that kind of a situation. Usually what I do is set up a time to meet. We're going to go over your health goals and anything you want to know about essential oils, doTERRA, and the most popular oils. My part takes about 30 minutes. You don't have to buy anything, but if you see something you'd like, of course, I'll help you order it. Is that something you'd be open to? And again, you can adapt some of this, but you can see, we say it only takes about 30 minutes. You don't have to buy anything. You say what you're going to go over. So it removes those barriers and makes them less freaked out. And we call this the usually script. So this is really important to have because oils are going to come up in public. Many of you have experienced this already, and you need to be able to say, usually what I do is blank, and tell them. And that helps you continue with your normal activity and compartmentalize that time. Okay, so once you're in that appointment, you heard me do this with M, but you give an agenda. You catch up, you break the ice, you get to know them, whatever. And then you need to remind them of the agenda because they've already forgotten from when you set the appointment and they're already freaked out again. So let's remind them. I've really been looking forward to this. First, we're going to chat a bit about your health goals and what you want to know about oils so I don't overwhelm you with information. Then we're going to go over doTERRA and some of the most popular oils. You don't have to buy anything if you don't want to, but if you see something you'd like, you can order it today. So what things do you want to make sure that we go over today? All right, easy. Let them know what to expect so they can relax and enjoy their time with you. And then the next portion is to learn about their goals. This is all about them. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you don't really matter in this situation. The customer does. Customer first. So before we get started, catch me up. What are some of your overall health goals? And then what else? Tell me more. And you just let them talk and just write it down and just listen. That's as easy as it gets, right? This is an easy section. And then the transition statement, the transition question is, what do you already know about doTERRA? This gives you some space to gauge, like, are they coming in like guns a-blazing or are they like, where are they at? So that's a really important question. And then once they respond to that, you share the company story. So doTERRA is the largest essential oil company. We help families use natural solutions for their everyday lives. People turn to us when their current approach to health is not achieving the results it was supposed to. They're tired of using chemicals for literally everything. They are confused by all the natural options out there and are overwhelmed when researching it, and they want something simple that works. doTERRA offers a full line of essential oil kits to help you and your family, whatever your health goals might be. doTERRA has raised the bar in the essential oils industry. They are the most tested and trusted oils on the market. This can be seen in their partnerships with over 120 research facilities and universities like Johns Hopkins. There are no fillers, no artificial ingredients, no pesticides, no dilution. The plants are grown in their ideal environments all around the world, and every batch of oils goes through 6 levels of testing to ensure purity and potency. When you see your doTERRA label, you can be assured you are getting the highest quality oil and therefore benefits on the market. And doTERRA has amazing customer service. If you don't like it, you can return it within 30 days and you're going to get 100% product credit to try something else or 90% return back to your card. So if I flip back to this first screen, so the idea of the company story is that you would be able to share a couple of reasons in this portion about like, why do people turn to doTERRA? Like, what are the issues that doTERRA addresses? And so we've got, a couple here. Their current approach to health is not working, tired of using chemicals, confused by the natural options, things like that. And then in this portion, you're supposed to be giving reasons of what are the differentiators? What makes doTERRA different? And some people share different things in this part. I mean, we all could talk for 45 minutes about how amazing doTERRA is, but you can't do that in your appointment for good reason. So just like 3 to 4 differentiators, things that makes doTERRA different. And then the customer, the guarantee is really important to add in to help remove like some of their like about the whole thing. What oils are and how to use them. I just keep this really simple. They come from plants. They're super concentrated. They're 50 to 70 times more powerful than herbs. You just need 1 to 2 drops. That's it. They're safe, effective, and affordable. I talk about aromatically. You can smell it out of the bottle, place a drop in your hands, or use a diffuser. Second way is topically. This is the part that M forgot about. You either put it where it hurts, or if you're not sure, put it on the bottoms of your feet. It's good to know how to dilute an oil. This means mixing your essential oil with some fractionated coconut oil to create a barrier for your skin and give your body time to process the oil. I always dilute for anyone under the age of 6, anybody who's pregnant or nursing, and anybody who's elderly with sensitive skin. And last is internally. I would only ever use doTERRA oils this way because of what we talked about earlier. You can take some in water, use a glass or stainless steel container, and you can even put a drop under your tongue. If you don't want to taste it, you can use these awesome veggie capsules that doTERRA has. So that's that. Simple, straightforward, but like that's the nuts and bolts. That's what an oil is and the 3 ways to use them. And almost anybody would benefit from hearing those things. And then the product explanation and the personalizing the products part, that's where I went through the 10 oils with M. So let's just talk about the 10 most popular products that come in the Home Essentials Kit. And then some really key phrases to use in this portion is earlier you mentioned to tie it back to specific goals, because remember, it's about them, not about you. And you can have, this is kind of, Caitlin, what we were talking about, your go-to examples. You are going to use this when, and be sure to talk about how they're going to use it. It's so tempting to talk about how you use it, but again, they're there for themselves. So talk about how they're going to use it. So here's an example for peppermint. Earlier you mentioned that you get head tension. This is what you're going to use for that. Just massage it into your temples and on the back of your neck. Also, do you know how when your alarm goes off and all you want to do is hit the snooze button, put a drop in your hands and breathe it in, and it's going to help wake you up, open up your airways, and give you a boost of energy. So pretty straightforward on this. I have an example here for lavender too. Earlier you mentioned that you and your family don't sleep well. Just put some of this lavender in your diffuser and on your pillowcases and you'll all sleep really well. And when summer comes and you get those pesky bug bites, just put this lavender right on to help soothe them. So easy. This is a pretty easy part. Just go through the 10 oils and say, you know, this is how you would use them. And those 10 oils are so universal. It's great to do. And then the clothes that makes us all sweaty, but it's really no big deal. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the 2 most popular kits. This is a Family Essentials kit. It comes with everything I showed you earlier in smaller size bottles, about 88 drops, and it's $150. And this is the Home Essentials kit, and it comes with everything I showed you, but in bigger bottles, about 250 drops, plus a diffuser. It's $275. If you were to get one of these, which would you prefer? And then the answer. So great, let me tell you about my first appointment special where you can either get a blend for sleep or for immune support free by ordering a kit today. Which would you prefer, some sleep or some immune boosting? Okay, great. Would you like to order the Home Essentials kit today and get your sleep blend for free to take with you? And if they say great, great, and while you smile and close their mouth and let them talk. So you're either going to be writing up the order or troubleshooting. So some other thoughts on closing. Obviously, they could answer those questions different ways. So let's say, you know, they can't afford it. Like Em said, I want the Home Essentials, but I don't think I can afford it. So great. That's not a problem. Do you think the Family Essentials kit is a really awesome and it's $150? You can still get the sleep blend too. Is that a better fit for you? And if they say no to that, then I would say, I understand. I always bring with me this cool intro kit, the lemon, lavender, and peppermint. It's $30 and has the 3 most popular oils. And what's awesome is that you can take this with you and start using them right away. And if they don't want that, then they're probably not an oil customer. But you can say, no problem. Let me know how I can help if anything changes. So this is kind of a drop-down closing to give them options. But it's really simple to just offer the 2 kits and you'd be amazed at what people pick. It's so much easier this way. Okay, let's talk about the follow-up appointment really quick. So now that your first order is on the way, we need to set up a time to quickly go through how you can order on your own, get the best discounts, and get the most out of your new oils. My part will take about 30 minutes. How does that sound? Come here.
Hey, Em, wait, hey, before you keep going with the follow-up appointment, can I say one thing about closing?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the most life-changing thing from the closing part, like truly that completely changed my business, was the sentence, do you want to go ahead and order that today? Because I feel like it was something I was never asking people. And so then you finish all of this well thought out, well-informed appointment, and you're just like, so yeah, that's it. And you just sit there like a weirdo staring at them, expecting them to make a decision, when it's like, if you just say the words, do you want to go ahead and order that today? It is seriously like a game changer for your business. So just highlighting that, it made all the difference.
Yes, it's so true. You have to ask for it. A lot of this stuff is going to feel like really simple, and you might be sitting here listening to me and being like, what? But I am telling you, this is like, I mean, I'm not like trying to toot my own horn because this isn't all I'm learning from other people. This is pure gold. Like, this will change everything. You're sassy. Okay. Okay. So setting up the follow-up appointment. How does that sound? We could do it over the phone or in person, which would be better for you. And we can do Tuesday or Thursday, which works better for your schedule. So giving them those options. But it's super important to set that follow-up appointment because they need to know how to use what they just bought. It was an investment. And then asking for referrals. I actually have to update this because Whitney Bonnets.
Where do you leave it? No.
I need you to leave that on. Yes. Okay. Here's your water. Thank you. Okay, so I'm actually going to redo the one that I have now because I like it better. So, and I'm working on memorizing it, so don't judge. Okay, so was this helpful for you? My favorite thing is connecting with people to help them learn about oils that would benefit them. I want to make sure that I proactively care for people in your circle, and I generally only meet with people that I know or who have been personally recommended to me. I'm looking to meet with people who care about their health and believe that quality is important, and they don't have to be people that for sure would buy, just people who are nice and care about their health. So would you be so kind as to write down 5 names of people that you know who would be open to meeting with me? For every 5 names you write down, I'd love to give you my favorite roller blend as my gift to you. How does that sound? Sounds great. Okay, good. Here's my notebook. You can put them right here. I'm going to go clean this mess up and make that roller bottle for you. But as you can see, there's different ways of, this is part of like when you get one-on-one with Emily or myself, you get a chance to be like, okay, this works for me. This doesn't. I need to change the wording here. So guys, that's the sales assembly line. You set an appointment, and then in the appointment, you give the agenda, you gather input and learn about their goals. You do the company story, you explain and personalize products, you close, set the follow-up appointment, and ask for referrals. And if you can become confident in those things, you will be like an unstoppable machine in caring for people and helping them actually get and experience oils. So what does this really look like? I have a whole... Whitney, where are your oils? You need to go get your oils. Those are Mama's oils. This slide is a breakdown, and I always not hesitate, but this is for those of you who are like, need to see it all panned out. So what does this really look like? Let's say you're like, great, Amy, I'm going to do this. You're going to set 10 appointments, and you're going to profit your first month. That's 2 to 3 appointments a week. Let's actually break that down so you can see what that looks like. So you're pretty much, you could find other people too, but you could read from the script to your mom, your sister, your best friend, etc. If you have 10 appointments, you're going to have 7 sales realistically, probably 3 home essentials kits, 2 family essentials kits, and probably 2 intro kits. So let's add that up. You've got your $60 cash. You get paid, remember, 20% of the PV. So the total PV was $895. So that's $179 fast start. So your income was $239 that month. Your product investment was, it's the 100 PV LRP, and then, if you think of tax and shipping, let's just say $115. So your profit was $124 in your first month, and it just builds from there. So you could cut this goal in half. You could double it. I'm just trying to let you see, like, this is kind of a very basic breakdown. And if you have not seen my doTERRA business overview, we'll talk about that in a minute, but it kind of goes further into this. So the action items, you should be in the Facebook group Fierce Leaders for support. All of the handouts, all of the outlines, everything is under the Files tab. So you can literally print out a binder and for free and run your whole business out of it. I'm not looking to have people spending a lot of money. Yep, the training binder materials are in there. The doTERRA business overview, I do have this recorded. I would really appreciate, it's, what is it? It's like a detailed overview of the compensation plan, as well as like, what makes doTERRA different? Like, why would somebody do this with doTERRA? So I'm happy to do a live one of those. I just need somebody to say, hey, I want you to do a live one so I can be on it. If you haven't attended and participated in Oil Camp, because our philosophy is customer first, I think it's really important to experience Oil Camp, because that's what I mean when I say customer first. It's all about customers. And then last is to set a date with myself or Em or whoever your support team is and work on your outline and practice it to feel really comfortable. It makes a world of a difference. It does. It seems silly, but it's huge. It's kind of like, I want to hash this out and see what this could look like for me. In that conversation, myself or Emily would get a chance to learn about you and what you want. It's not about us. It's about you guys. We talk a little bit about compensation and what next steps could be. So that's kind of what that looks like. Whew. Okay, I'm going to hit escape, and I'm going to see if you guys have any questions. I'm going to stop sharing too. So go ahead and unmute yourself or do anything that you want. Sorry, it's been so chaotic, guys.
I have a question. I think you did a live video on this possibly, but I would have to look back through your videos. But what do you do when somebody's like, so what made you choose doTERRA and not Young Living or something? It's always the question, why did you choose? Obviously I can talk about all the great things about doTERRA, but that still, somebody still might question, okay, well, you could have went with Young Living because doTERRA might be a little bit more expensive than Young Living, or what made you not just go out on Amazon and buy those cheaper oils that are totally adulterated and terrible? That's a hard approach to get somebody there's people that sometimes are just not willing to spend that kind of money on oils. And to me, it doesn't matter what they cost, I'll figure it out type of thing. But for other people, it's just, they can't justify it.
I think that as you feel more confident in your presentation, and if you are especially, like I sell oils a lot of times on Zoom without them ever smelling them. But that being said, when you're face to face and they actually smell the oil, you have them. I mean that but like this smell, and I know that there's more to it than just the smell, but I think that the oils do speak for themselves a lot. And when somebody asks about Young Living, I just, if they actually have Young Living oils, I say, go ahead and pull out your lavender or your peppermint and we'll put it next to our lavender and peppermint. And then I'll let them say what they think after they smell them side by side. Or you could say something like, I'll say that it came down to sourcing and testing. I did do a little video on that, but so I feel like if you just want to be like kind of neutral about it, or because it's hard because people get, woof, I would say it was sourcing and testing.
Yeah, because I don't want to like talk bad about them, but clearly I did my research on Young Living because obviously that's one of the other bigger companies that's out there. And I just wanted to know what the big hoopla about them was because I knew there was some sketchy stuff. So I did my own research on it, but I don't want to I don't know. I don't want to tell people like what I found. I'd rather have them do their own research. So I guess it's good to just talk about the benefits more so of doTERRA and then just kind of leave them to do their own research. I don't know.
And the other thing is this, like,
I agree.
If I have to have one more conversation, and it's a Sunday night, who knows what I'm saying at this point. If I have to have like one more conversation with somebody, it's my least favorite conversation to have with somebody in explaining to them why doTERRA, because I don't like feeling like I'm convincing somebody.
Right.
So in light of that, my target market is literally people who know nothing about oils. I'm tired of engaging with the yoga master and the foodie. They're wonderful people. But they've read too many mommy blogs and they've read too many different things. And I'm like, I have this much brain space in my day and I don't want to spend it arguing with you about yada, yada, yada. Have I found that 9 out of 10 times when I engage, I can do it well and they end up seeing my viewpoint most of the time? Yeah. But I don't love engaging in that. So I'm not looking for people who are, do they come to me? Yes. But I'm looking for people who literally know nothing, and that's helped with that.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense.
No, it did. We were when we were at the farmer's market, there was I guess the third Saturday of every month, they have like all these booths of like Norwax and everything like that. Mm-hmm. There was not a doTERRA booth, and I was like, but there was a Young Living. Mm-hmm. So I just scoped it out, obviously, as I walked past because I wanted to see what they were doing because I had said to Heather, I'm like, maybe this is something that her and I can team up and do, even with Katie. And and sit out there on a Saturday and, you know, let people ask about doTERRA. But when we walked past that booth and I was with my friend, she instantly was like, oh, you know, what about Young Living, or why'd you choose that? So then I was just kind of like, well, let's go scope it out and see what they're doing at their booth to kind of, you know, bring people in, or what they're advertising, I guess. So.
Right.
I feel like at the end of it, there's like a million reasons. Like, you know, you and I both know why we chose doTERRA and why, like, all the reasons why I think they're better. And at the end of the day, I feel the same way as Amy. Like, I'm over trying to convince people, and like, no matter what you say, like any point, if you choose to engage in it, I feel like people can always counter with like, well, what about this? And what about this? So like my kind of go-to answer is like, you know, I've done a lot of research on the two companies, and with what I have read and with what I know, I would never put another oil on my body that isn't doTERRA. Because I trust their purity, and they're really the only ones whose purity I trust. And so at the end of it, then it's just like, they can't argue with that. Like, okay, well, this is what I've chosen for my family. And it's like, okay. I feel like that kind of shuts it down, which I like.
It's a fine line between being snarky and confident that I walk fairly often, you know, of being like, this is what I've chosen, I feel really good about it, and being like, you're a moron, like, it's garbage. You know what I mean? So when I figure out how to really master that.
Let us know.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. Does that help?
Yes, it does.
Okay, good. Anybody else have any other questions?
I might, but you can't hear me.
No, you're doing okay right now, Heather.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Maybe.
Oh, it's kind of delayed.
You're clear, though. It's just delayed. No, she's good.
Oh.
You know,
I want to say one thing to all three of you guys, though. That
It feels really awkward talking so delayed, so I'm
Oh no.
oh shoot. One thing with doTERRA, like with our team in particular, is that like this is very much a team. So like I'm about to have a baby, so like Amy will be a great resource. I know Kate is like crazy busy with moving and teaching, and like you guys can always use us as a resource. Like there's no like, oh, is there a person I have to talk to? Like, always feel free to use us for any questions or anything we can help with. We're here for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know this was fragmented, or Caitlin, were you raising your hand, or were you just going like this?
No, sorry, I was moving my hand. We're all good.
Okay. I appreciate your guys' patience. I know this was a little chaotic, so thank you. And I will put the recording up in our group. But yeah, I would really encourage you, I mean, as other things come up, as other questions come up, but I think it's worth at least having a conversation of like, whoa, that was really interesting. Like, I have more questions. So we're here. And that's it. If you think a business overview live like this would be helpful, I am more than happy to do that. I just need to know. And that's that. All the files and everything is in the group.
I would be interested in the business overview, just to say that right now. So
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll look at that. Does typically a Sunday night work?
No.
yeah, for me at least.
Looks like it worked really well on my end.
Yeah, they work.
Okay. I'll maybe be in contact about that too, so we can find something that works for everybody. Okay, this was really fun. Thank you. Thanks again for your patience, and I hope you all have a great Sunday night.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Have a good night.
Bye, ladies.